If you don't look like what their perception of a lawyer is, they'll treat you like you're not a lawyer. When I go out to the small counties, I've had bailiffs tell me that I need to like go wait outside because the criminal clients have to stay outside until their lawyers show up. I'm here in heels with a briefcase. And I think that's what disappoints me the most about the field. For some reason in the legal field, it's like if you're not a guy and you don't look a specific way, you probably don't know what you're doing. And it's just not true. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Zeinab Kashmar Zahid. I am an attorney. I do personal injury and I'm the managing partner of my firm ZKZ Law. I never really thought I wanted to be a lawyer, but growing up, my dad was always insistent on it. So of course I rebelled. I was an English lit major at U of H and I tried a few different things after I graduated my English lit degree, but ultimately figured out that law school was probably the right path for me. So essentially I got bullied into it by my dad. But it ended up being, alhamdulillah, like one of the best things I've ever done. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. We're originally Lebanese, but we grew up in Houston. Went to school here, went to U of H here. All my siblings went to U of H, so we're a Houston family. I have been married for 8 years as of December, alhamdulillah. We have 2 kids together, and he also works at the firm with me. He is the CFO. He's my best friend, so it works for us, but sometimes it's hard to draw a line between work life and family life because we do all the things concurrently. It's really good for us, but I don't think it would work for everyone. He is my biggest supporter. The firm was 100% his idea. He watched me work with so many different people, and every time he was like, you could do this yourself. You are killing it. You don't need this support system. You're just too afraid to bet on yourself. And he finally convinced me when we had my son, is when we started the firm. So the firm and Ibrahim are 3 years old. I think it's very difficult to work with someone who doesn't necessarily have the same morals as you and the same compass as you when it comes to the treatment of the clients. And that's really what inspired ZKZ for us. I'm a good attorney and I do a great job on my cases, but that's not what's unique about us. What's unique about us is that the clients are also getting individualized attention. So if you call and you need to speak to me, you're going to speak to me. It's not going to take me 3 weeks to get back to you. You're going to get answers to your questions to the ability that I can answer questions. One of the biggest jokes about lawyers is that we say it depends for everything. And the truth is it's because we know that everything depends on a million factors, but you'll get some kind of guidance. And if I'm not the best person to help with the issue, I have no problem stepping away from a case and saying, I know this person, I think they would be a much better attorney for this case. Obviously, everything is money centered. I don't think anybody works for the fun of working. At the end of the day, we're all trying to feed our families, but we're not money centered to the detriment of other people. So I do find that my clients are always happy with their representation. A lot of them keep my phone number. Most of my clients are the ones that are referring future clients to me. So alhamdulillah, that I think speaks to the level of representation that they feel like they're having on their case. And I do keep in touch with some clients. Not everybody becomes a friend, but everybody is friendly. I get calls that don't necessarily have anything to do with me, which I take as a flattering thing. If someone calls and they're like, my son wants to do XYZ, would you mind speaking to him? I'm like, I'm your attorney, but I'm happy to talk to him if you think it would help him on his career path. And I think that is a testament to how comfortable the clients feel with us. When it comes to practice areas, personal injury is more constant and 24/7. And I think that people don't see that from an outside perspective. Even from attorneys who don't practice personal injury, a lot of the feedback that I get is, oh, personal injury lawyers, you guys make a ton of money, because they see the billboards on the side of the road and they see the, $32 million settlement and all of that, which is what people like to advertise because of course it makes them look successful. But what people don't see when it comes to personal injury is that we really are changing people's lives with the money. If someone hits you with a car and you have back problems for the rest of your life, money is not going to make you better, but it's the only way we have to even try to make you better. So I've had people go to college because of a car accident that they were in when they otherwise wouldn't have been able to, or would have had to take out student loans. I've had minors get put on an annuity for the next 30 years where they're making $2,000 to $3,000 per month for 30 years. It's a lot of money for someone who just turned 18. It gives them opportunities that they may not have otherwise otherwise had. It allows them to buy homes that they may not have otherwise been able to. That is what people miss when it comes to personal injury, because they just see the lawyers that are raking in a ton of money. We're not all billionaires. One case can make or break it from the perspective of a personal injury lawyer, but the human aspect of it is what people forget. I like to clarify to people because I don't love the vibe of all the big names in Houston. I don't want to like name drop a bunch of attorneys, but we know who they are. We see their billboards on the side of the road. If they have a multi, even $100,000 settlement, they have a very injured client. If they have a settlement that's in the millions, they have dead people. The money doesn't change anything for them. It might be life-changing for their family, but money's not gonna make your legs grow back. That's where the misconception about personal injury comes in. To some degree, it does become normalized. I look at pictures of car accidents all day when I'm preparing for a deposition, when I'm preparing for a trial. For some people, it may be difficult at the beginning. My first case as a baby lawyer, it was a guy who had died on a racetrack. I was literally looking at pictures of this guy's like burned up body. That was very difficult for me. It's still difficult as a human, but in order to do the job, you have to remove yourself to a certain degree. I think my friends who are surgeons have told me the same thing. Like, you can't really think about the fact that you're cutting into a person or else you won't do it well. And that's how it is, not to the same degree, but for PI, you can't be like, oh my God, the person in this car was killed. You just have to be like, okay, where did the hit come from? Which angle was it from? Which vehicle probably caused this damage? Who is going to be the defendant in this case? Who do we need to go after? It becomes more calculated and less emotional. And I think that we have to be able to remove emotion from it to a certain degree to do the best job for our clients. Because if I was like a wreck every time I looked at something like this, I wouldn't be the best lawyer for the job. Let the work represent itself. At some point, it's gonna show if the opposing counsel, not just me, just anyone that you're against, it's gonna show if they don't know what they're doing. It's gonna show if they're too aggressive because they're not confident in their strategy. It's gonna show if they're not aggressive enough and they're not like advocating for their clients enough. Do your thing, let them dig their own hole. This is my strategy against opposing counsel. At the end of the day, it's gonna be very obvious who knows what they're doing and who doesn't. There's a winner and a loser in our cases. It's not like anything ever ends in a draw. You either pay me because you think I'm right, or I don't get paid because I'm wrong. And that's all it is. Sometimes it's definitely hard to step out of my like work persona and into my home persona. For me, reading a book that has absolutely nothing to do with the law or with anything that's just like a little bit mind-numbing, or like maybe zoning out on Netflix, is probably something that I do when I just like can't turn my brain off just because the chatter like helps me. You definitely have to learn how to deal with it. And I would say that the answer has changed probably since becoming a mom, but now it's just spending time with my kids. They're so much fun and they're so innocent and they don't really care about what's going on with anything. So I definitely feel like I'm able to get past stuff just because I don't want to give them my anxiety or like reflect that upon them. My family is everything for me. So my kids and their future, and hopefully building some kind of generational wealth or generational like career that they can take off of if they want to, that's the whole point of this. I don't necessarily care for them to see me as like a high-powered career woman. I hope that they get the balance of like hard work, but also like not being a super anxious employee. I really just want them to see like a kind and loving mom. And if they're proud of how hard I work or proud of what their dad and I have built, then that's just a positive that will come out of it. Realistically, it's a ton of work. I've never worked so hard in my life. I'm also like a mom of 2 kids that are under 3. We have no free time. We have no spare time for anything, even for things that we want to do. The thing that really keeps me going is knowing that like, inshallah, the work right now and the hard work that we're putting in right now will make their lives easier in the future. I worry sometimes that I'm giving my kids anxiety because I'm always working. My son will bring his little toy laptop and be like, I have to work right now. When we're trying to interrupt him from something, I try not to take the anxiety home, but I definitely do, especially in certain cases, hit me harder than others. You know, sometimes it's a client that's being particularly difficult. Sometimes it's a client that's having a really hard time that I wish I could do more for. People trust attorneys, so sometimes I'll get a call from someone that's completely unrelated to a personal injury case and I get all these crazy details about like a divorce that I didn't need, or like a child custody case or some horrible criminal case, and I hate to shut them down because I know they need to talk about it and they want me to refer them to someone. But those are the things I have not trained my brain to deal with. So I think those affect me more than like the car accident case. But that's when I think the support system at home is so important. And my husband is 100%, alhamdulillah, that support system. So I'm able to talk to him about it or brainstorm ideas with him of how to handle it or what we could do for the client to make their lives better, how we can help them move past this difficult phase. And I've definitely, you know, taken clients to lunch and met them for coffee if they were having an issue with something. Part of the job is also listening to people, hearing what they're saying, and then getting them the treatment and the money that will help them. I definitely have to speak up more. I also have to think about what I'm saying more. Just as an obviously Muslim person, that's how I always designated it, because obviously my husband's Muslim, he grew up in Saudi, but nobody's like watching him to see what he's gonna do and then making him like a representative of the entire Muslim population. So I think what's really exhausting is somehow becoming the spokesperson or like the mascot for every single Muslim person that anyone who doesn't encounter us all the time comes across. I can't have a bad day or like a bad moment. I've used this example to my family before. I don't feel like I can walk into H-E-B in my pajamas if I'm not feeling good and I just need to grab one thing, because then I look ratty and couldn't be bothered. And then it's a whole thing where it's like, oh, this Muslim girl was like in H-E-B in her pajamas. You are being watched to a certain degree. I also grew up as the only Muslim. Elementary school, middle school, and high school, the only Muslim people were me and my brother. Until I went to U of H for undergrad, I was probably the only Muslim person elementary through high school. So it's a lot to feel you are everybody's first interaction with your world. I definitely think I've had to make my peace with the fact that some people are going to see me how they want to see me, regardless of how I hold myself up. When I first started working and I hadn't had kids immediately after getting married, it was, she's too high-powered career. She doesn't want kids. She doesn't have time for kids because she's like too busy working, which everybody gets to some degree from whatever community that they're in, but I feel like the Arabs are like particularly bad at it. I really try to like brush off all of the noise. And again, I have a great support system in my husband because we're able to like keep our circle to the people that we feel like positively uplift us and not necessarily the people who are like throwing constant judgments at us. If what we're doing works for him and for my kids, that's really the only people that get to have an opinion on our lives. I try to just be genuinely myself, whether I'm at work or at home. I never want to do anything at work that I wouldn't be able to proudly say that I did. And I never want to do anything at home that I wouldn't be able to proudly say that I did. So I think just trying to be like consistent to myself is what's helped. As a Muslim woman, even if what you want to do is not what traditionally we've been told is what we should and shouldn't do, as long as it fits within your specific values, you belong there. We're taught to prioritize different things. You can have whatever you want to have as long as you have a structure and a family balance that allows you to have that and an understanding with the people around you. So don't let things hold you back just because it doesn't look traditional the way we're told is traditional.